Stars like Malcolm Simmons, Gordon Kenneth and the reigning British champion Steve Bastable didn't make the 16 for Coventry shows how the young Lions are roaring ahead. Well, the British final was decided over 20 heats, and after heat number 8, each of the 16 riders had completed 2 of their allotted 5 rides, and only Andy Graham was still undefeated. He was on 6 points, having set a new track record with the first of his rides. His brother Alan was 1 point behind, along with another pair of brothers, Phil and Peter Collins. Kenny Carter was also on 5 points, while Michael Lee, the 1980 world champion, and Chris Morton shared 4 points. Simon Wigg and Paul Woods had 3 points. The third Collins brother Les was on 2, along with Malcolm Holloway and Dave Jessup. Mike Ferreira and Kevin Jolly had 1 point, while John Davis and John Louis had failed to score. So, with the British title and 8 qualifying places in the overseas final at stake, we now join the action for Heat 9 at the Coventry Stadium are Gary Newbon and Dave Lanning.
There is the lineup: Mike Ferreira on the inside, then Morton, Paul Woods, grid 3, Malcolm Holloway on the outside. Heat number 9. And it is from the inside, Mike Ferreira who gets away. Morton is second. In third place it's Woods, and at the back it is Holloway. So this, again, is something of a surprise, because Ferreira, the Zimbabwean, made the start, and he has got Chris Morton really ducking and diving on his back wheel and looking for his point of attack. It's going to come around the outside. And Ferreira holds him back, but for how long? Looking very frisky. Chris Morton again attacking the outside, and this time has he got the drop? Yes, he has. So Morton favouring the dirt, favouring the outside line, makes it pay, as we have seen so often. And it's interesting that these two in front, Morton and Ferreira, had a terrifying pile-up in the semi-final at Hackney, which almost put paid to Morton's chances. It is encouraging to see him, obviously, over that knock. Here's a fine picture of the pair of them hurtling in to the bottom corner here at Brandon. Another fine win from Morton. Second place Ferreira, third was Woods. Last at the back was Malcolm Holloway. So Chris Morton, number 16, last over the hatch, but first past the post there in Heat 9.
Chris Morton, were you aware that Mike Ferreira and yourself were involved? It was Mike involved in that terrible crash in the semi-final?
I didn't realise it was Mike, you know. I mean, I don't hold any grudges for that. It was just an accident, you know, that happened due to probably tight racing, you know. There's no grudges held there.
No, but you weren't aware it was him, in fact?
I wasn't, no. I mean, I knew he was in the race, but I was just going for winning it, you know.
Right, well, let's show you the overtake, your second one.
Yeah, I mean, I'd had a bad ride in my last one, so I was looking for a few more points there. And it took a bit of weighing up, you know, because he was riding it so well, and he was coming in tight and pinching the dirt on the outside going out, you know, so I had to weigh him up for a few laps. But you see, I only just got round him, you know. It was just a bit of a squeeze to get past him.
Well, this Brandon track isn't holding many fares for you as far as overtaking is concerned tonight.
No, it's not. They prepared it well, you know. It seems to be suiting the passing. A lot of people complain that you can't pass around the place, but if you try hard enough, you can.
Well, almost a capacity crowd here at this superbly appointed Brandon Stadium, one of the cornerstones of British Speedway since 1948, and really magnificently administrated by Charles Ochiltree and his team. The track's in perfect condition. We've seen that. And considering the thunderstorms which have raged and roared and flashed about the Midlands today, that's a real tribute to them. Well, again, we wonder if it's going to be a case of oh brother here, because we've got Phil Collins and Peter Collins on the inside in red and blue respectively, and they both have 5 points, so they both are very much in touch with this British title. We've got Simon Wigg in white, who has 3 points and who has looked by no means out of his depth in this kind of company, despite the fact he is what might be termed a junior. And Michael Lee on the outside with a win and a third. Michael, of course, so terribly unpredictable. Does blow hot and cold. Phil Collins, on his 22nd birthday, is what, 6 years younger than Peter. There are 5 of these Collins brothers. There's Peter the eldest, of course. Les is in this meeting. We have got Phil looking good, and we have got young Neil Collins at Leicester, just across the Midlands here, really making quite a success of his opening season in British League racing. There's one more to come, young Stephen up there, who turned 16 this summer. So 5 brothers from live in Cheshire. We've got 2 of them in this race. Phil Collins on the inside, Peter Collins grid 2, Simon Wigg grid 3, Michael Lee on the outside. Here we go, heat 10. And And it's a narrow squeeze up to the first corner. But it is Peter Collins who shows Lee gets around the outside of Phil Collins. Wicks at the back. That really was a torrid first corner. And what a cracking start from Peter Collins. And the old maestro looks to be very much back on form, and his brother Phil is by no means finished as he boldly moves up to tackle Michael Lee for second place. And that's a fine piece of cornering from Phil Collins. Just look at this for Speedway. Who said you cannot pass at Coventry? We've seen it around the outside now, we've seen it on the inside from Phil Collins. And the Collins boys are having a British final to remember. This is Peter. There's Phil in second place. There's Peter, number 5. And, well, almost a carbon copy. Down the back straight, this is the last lap. Peter's going to win it. Phil is second. Michael Lee is third. And it really is a heartening sight to see Peter Collins back to something like his old world champion best. And brother Phil looking as though he might at last following in his tyre prints. Well, it isn't often you see Peter Collins get away, but he's in grid 2 here. His front wheel's just off the ground, and he gets up to the first corner, almost elbowing younger brother Phil out of the way. Now, here comes Michael Lee around the outside. This is the first lap, and Michael Lee has just got enough motor to drive down the outside of Phil Collins into the bottom corner. Here's Peter in front. But now let's just watch for Phil Collins, because although he's been squeezed out on that first lap, he's by no means finished. He comes roaring back on the inside of Lee, and as they move into the second lap, he really gets his head down, gets determined. There he is, he's a long way back. Lee drifts out almost into Peter Collins' slipstream here, and Phil Collins sees his moment, comes diving through, still not quite enough, but again he will try the inside run here. Lee must be aware that he's there. And again, Lee just about overcooks the corner, and there Phil Collins has ridden really a beautiful curb line, goes through on the inside, 2 more points to him. The qualification places are beginning to sort themselves out, and it again becoming quite a scramble for the last places. We're moving into heat 11, and clearly we have 2 riders looking for qualification, and 2 whose chances must be fast slipping away. John Louis on the inside. What a disappointing night for the old Tiger. No score so far. Alan Graham, by comparison, has had a marvellous night. A win and a second place. He's in grid 2 here in blue. Kevin Jolly from Ipswich, well, an honest enough practitioner, maybe a little bit out of his depth here at British final level. And Kenny Carter, well, the wee tyke was everybody's choice as potential champion. He has 5 points as well. Here we go, heat 11. And it got awfully tight around the outside, and Carter squeezed over there. And that really was just a little bit naughty. It'll be interesting seeing that one again. But in front, it is Louis, and Carter goes across the curb and moves his teammate over. And, well, coming through too is Alan Graham into second place. So it's Carter and Graham. That was a first lap when just about everything hit us. But the kitchens think Carter's in front, Graham is second, and third place it is Louis. The back it's Jolly. And Carter obviously means business. He's zoomed across at the start, he's shot up the inside, and Jolly has moved past Louis into third place as well. So Tiger Louis has gone from first to last, and Carter, whose tactics on that first lap may well bear scrutiny, is in front and looking again well set for 3 more points. He wins it. Carter 3 more. Alan Graham 2. He'll be happy with that. In third place it was Jolly. But oh dear. Well, that first lap was well worth another look. Well, just watch Kenny Carter here on this first lap. Right from the start, he's leaning across on Kevin Jolly, gives him a nudge. But all the action there in the first corner as Carter comes across. Graham's in the sandwich. Louis on the inside. Graham gets squeezed out there with all the elbows flying. But Louis is down in the front here. Now just watch for Carter, because he really boldly moves under his teammate. Now his front wheel's over the white line. They did both of his wheels go over the line. It didn't look it, but it certainly moved John Louis over and left a hole for Alan Graham to come through. That really was spectacular action from the Yorkshireman.
Kenny, 1 or 2 anxious moments for you in that heat at the start?
Yeah, I made a bad start. My clutch was dragging me into the tips, and I thought, you know, I'd made a sort of bad stack. So
Well, we'll show it to you now.
Yeah.
Oh, you thought what?
Yeah, my bike was pulling me into the start, and I had to hold it back. And when the front wheel lifted, I come into the corner, and I just sort of, you know, I couldn't get there. And when I come on the inside of John coming out, because I was not getting any drive coming around the corner, and then I saw John, so I decided to come back on the inside. But as I turned on the inside, so did John, and my front wheel hit the curb, but my back wheel, you know, I just saw was on the track, and just went from there then.
So there's no problems about that at all, was there?
Well, I wasn't too happy, you know. I think I had the wrong gear on and my bike was spinning, but hopefully we can tune it up, you know.
3 points, only 1 drop so far tonight.
Yep.
Heat 12, John Davis on the inside has had a desperately unhappy evening. Les Collins in grid 2 could do with some points too. He's seen both his brothers really gathering the points in every race, and he really will have to move some now to qualify. And the same might be said for Dave Jessup, the England captain and a world-class performer without any doubt. He's only got 2. Whereas on the outside we have the apple cart merchant. Really has upset the form book, Andy Graham, although Midlanders will say it's no surprise to them. He really has been in superb form, unbeaten. He is the leader after 2 races. He'll be looking to 3 points and a win here to maintain that top spot on the leaderboard. There is Andy Graham in his first British final. So Davis on the inside, then Les Collins. Grid 3, Jessup on the outside. Andy Graham, here we go, heat 12. And this time, it is Graham who gets away. That was a very ragged start. Davis is second. Les Collins coming around the outside, looking for second place. He just about gets the drop on Davis going into the bottom corner. And Jessup's at the back. And here's another surprise. Didn't look to have made the start, but he certainly made up an awful lot of ground up to the first turn, and he's well clear now and kicking on. Second place, Les Collins. Third is Davis. Collins is certainly making a little bit of ground on Graham, but this slender young man from Birmingham doesn't make any mistakes and goes very, very quickly. There's the battle up front. We look back, and they're just going out of our picture. Still John Davis in third place. This is the leaders. So it's going to be Andy Graham, still unbeaten. Second place, Les Collins. Third, Davis and Dave Jessup. Hey, there's a surprise. No points for DJ, the England captain. Could this possibly be the end of the World Championship road for him and the start of a World Championship fairy tale for this man, Andy Graham? 3 rides down, just 2 to go in this Sunday Mirror British final of the World Championship, and there are the riders looking for qualification places at White City in the overseas final. Andy Graham, surprise leader, still unbeaten after 3 races. He has 9 points, but he still has to meet Kenny Carter, who's breathing right down his neck in second place, along with Peter Collins. Brother Phil Collins is in there too on 7 points, along with Andy's brother Alan Graham on 7, and Chris Morton. Michael Lee's back on 5, and we have Les Collins and Paul Woods battling for the final qualification place. Remember, only 8 go forward, and noticeable, most noticeable by his absence from that leaderboard is Dave Jessup with only 2 points.
Well, what a start for you two Graham brothers. Andy, the clear leader, and you 4th place equal, Alan. What about your brother, first of all? What a dramatic start for him after 3 rides.
I think he's doing very well, Gary. The way he's going, I don't see any reason why he shouldn't win it here today.
Well, Andy?
Yeah, well, Gary, I'm pleased myself. I came here just with the attitude to qualify. I am in with a chance of winning it, and let's hope I can pull it off, yeah.
Alan, it's all going right for this young lad this season, isn't it?
Yeah, he's having a terrific season. He had a winter down in Australia. That set things going very well. Came back and just carried on where he left off, and he's going from strength to strength.
And there's the man, the Graham brothers' fear, Kenny Carter, coming out here in heat 13. He has dropped a point to the flying Chris Morton, but still very much in touching distance of this British title. Was second last year, has sworn to go 1 better here at Brandon in this 1982 final. Kenny Carter will be in grid 3, which hasn't been one of the quickest grids away from the start, although he's showed himself to be ruthless and resourceful coming from the back. Carter to watch for in grid 3. But we just look across to the inside grid, because here is the man that the eyes of Coventry and indeed British Speedway are on at the moment, Andy Graham. first British final, unbeaten with 3 wins under his belt. And in the race now, which may well sort out the eventual destination of the 1982 British Championship. It's getting a little nervy there. Graham has turned back probably to keep them just on tender hooks a little. Looking across the other 2 starters here, we have Phil Collins. Well, of course, Phil's had a good night. He has a total of 7 points. And Paul Woods on the outside in yellow and black. He's by no means out of the fight for qualification places. So heat 13 may well be decisive. There's Woods. Really is hot competition for him here. On the inside, Graham unbeaten on 9 points. Next to him, Phil Collins on his birthday, going like a bomb. Grid 3 has Kenny Carter, who really must beat Andy Graham here if he wishes to realistically hold out hopes of the British Championship, the one he values so dearly. And on the outside, Paul Woods, heat 13, the one that can sort it all out. And away they go, and it is Carter, and it is Graham who move out, and Graham was the ruthless one, and this is Super Speedway because Carter's fighting back. That really was a no-holds-barred first corner, and it's Graham in front. Carter is second, Phil Collins is third. They all bunch up. Well, he's only a little guy, wants to weigh about 8 stone, but he certainly moved Kenny Carter over there. And British Speedway really has found a new star. Andy Graham going away from Carter. And Carter's got his work cut out to hold back Phil Collins' challenge. And Collins is going down the inside. It's happening up front, it's happening in second place. We're having some really splendid speedway here at Coventry. This is the last lap, and again Carter and Collins are ducking and diving and weaving and bobbing, and look how tight it is there. And Andy Graham is unconcerned. He's going to win. He's 13, and that may well be the one that takes the British title to the younger Graham brother and to Birmingham. And the crowd are rising to him because he really made that race his at the first corner, and it was as exciting and as tough a first corner as you're likely to see.
Kenny, did you have trouble with your bike in that race?
Yes, I went to the start and it kept dragging me into the start with the clutch, and I thought something was wrong, but I couldn't go back. I thought I made a decent start, and I knew Andy was on the inside, so I tried to go around him, and as I locked in, it just nearly pitched me over the handlebars, and I just hung on and kept going, and just, you know, I thought my bike actually was seizing up because it kept vibrating, and I just settled for second. Then Phil come past, and I thought, you know, I thought my bike was going to go any time. And luckily I held on to a second, but my frame snapped in half both sides.
Well, you didn't know that, Andy. Let's take you through the start, because it was a remarkable start for you.
Yeah, see, Kenny's off guide 3 there, and I'm off guide 1. And we both sort of come to the corner together. Phil just gets chopped out there, and so we touch there, and then see, I've got the drive on the inside, and Kenny's, whatever happened to his frame, obviously put him in a bit of trouble. But you know, I just got the drive there and just come out on top in front of Kenny.
OK, well, Kenny, very quickly, a lot of people tip you to win this title, but the lad here has done well, even though you had trouble with your bike.
Yeah, he's going well, but he hasn't won it yet, you know.
As we near the climax of this 1982 British final, the best of British, and we've had really some resourceful racing and some enterprising entertainment. And we wonder if we're going to have just a tinge of drama and sadness now, because Jessup desperate for points here in heat 15, while Morton and Collins are also in with the hunt. And it is Jessup who breaks. Jessup is clear. Second place is Morton. Third, coming around the outside, is Peter Collins, and the 3 England men, teammates, on track in World Team events. There'll be no love lost now, though, as the battle is thoroughly joined. Jessup battling for his very life, for his very existence in this year's World Championship. Can he possibly squeeze through after the disasters that have befallen him in his earlier rides? He's got Chris Morton right on his tail. Peter Collins, it must be said, is not really gaining ground. Way at the back it's jolly. But Jessup lives again, breathes again. He's in front. Morton is not really making inroads on him to move into the last lap. Here comes Morton trying to find again that extra grip and drive and power around the outside. I think he's going to catch Jessup. And Jessup, well, he'll be a Houdini if he can pull this one off. He wins Heat 15. Those 3 points absolutely worth their weight in gold to him. Second was Chris Morton. Third was Peter Collins. And we can but speculate if Dave Jessup can still squeeze in to the overseas final. It really would be one of the master escapes of Speedway history if he manages it. Heat 16, Les Collins will be in the white helmet colour here. After collecting a duck first time out, he's had 2 consistent second places, but can't afford to slip, to drop any more points here. This is Heat 16. On the inside, Alan Graham, one of the oh-so-competitive Graham brothers. His younger brother Andy's in front. Alan will be looking to consolidate a qualification place here in 16. Mike Ferreira in grid 2. Les Collins looking for points to grab one of those 8 places at White City in grid 3. On the outside, Simon Wigg, by no means disgraced in this his first big-time international speedway individual meeting. And an interesting point here is that Mike Ferreira and Simon Wigg were first and second in last year's National League Championship final at Wimbledon, which shows the National League really is doing its job, producing some star riders of great potential. Here we go, Heat 16. On the inside, Alan Graham, Ferreira blue, Les Collins white, Simon Wigg yellow and black. And again, it is Alan Graham who shows. Les Collins is second, coming around the outside hard. It is going to be Wigg for third place, challenging Ferreira. And here comes Collins after Alan Graham. Alan Graham leads it. Les Collins riding with all the competitive urge that this clan from Cheshire seem to be imbued with. Will not stop battling. Graham in front, Les Collins trying to really find something extra special. Now he's switched inside as Collins moved to counter him, rather as Graham moved to counter him. Into the last lap. Can Les Collins possibly find that little bit of extra oomph? Alan Graham has ridden an immaculate line, has not allowed him an inch of space, and is going to collect 3 points for his efforts. 3 more for him. He must surely go forward now to White City. Les Collins collects 2 more precious points. In third place, it was Mike Ferreira. Well, there is Alan Graham. A total of 10 points ensures that he will be in the overseas final, his first overseas final. And he's still in with a shout of a place on the rostrum here in the British final. They all have 1 ride left. There are the leaders. Andy Graham clearly in front on 12 points, 2 clear of the second place riders, Kenny Carter and his elder brother, Alan Graham. Peter Collins and Chris Morton are on 9 points, Phil Collins on 8, Michael Lee on 7 and Les Collins on 6. Now those are the 8 qualification places, but it all depends what happens in this last outing, because look who's breathing right down their neck now. Dave Jessup on 5 points, and he's still got an awful lot to race for. Heat number 17, and it could complete a masterpiece of escapology for this rider, Dave Jessup. He looked completely out of contention after only 2 points from his first 3 rides. Won his last race, and a win here might still steal him one of those valuable 8 qualification places in the overseas final. And Jessup, the rider looking for one of the greatest comebacks in Speedway history, in honesty, has not got the hottest of opposition here in Heat 17, with no disrespect to the 3 of them, but all 3 are out of contention. Paul Woods on the inside, John Louis in grid 2, Simon Wigg grid 3. Jessup could finish on 8 points, and that would still put him in with a shout, and would still really put the cat among the pigeons for the last qualification place. It would put pressure on Michael Lee at the moment, that has 7 points and a very tough last ride. So Jessup, who found his starting touch in his 4th ride when he beat Peter Collins and Chris Morton, no mean duo, will be looking for another flying start. The outside grid hasn't been a quick one. Let's see what DJ can make of it here in this Heat 17, so important to his World Championship chances in 1982. And he has just squeezed ahead into the first corner. Second is Paul Woods. We've lost John Louis there with engine trouble. And this is Jessup really going for his very existence in the World Championship. He's in no danger, but such is his record of mechanical breakdowns that all of us who have admired his skill and his flair and his sportsmanship over the years now just keep our fingers crossed that the bike keeps going, because David has such an appalling record of mechanical letdowns, and it really would be a great tragedy if his bike should go now. You've got to doff your cap at his courage. All seem lost after 3 races. He might still squeeze in. And as we mentioned, that will rate as one of the great comebacks, great pieces of escapology in Speedway history. 3 more points to Jessup. He finishes on 8 points. Now he must sweat. Second place was Woods. Third was Wigg. And there's Jessup. 2 late wins. He's hanging on by his fingertips. And we can but wait to see if his effort has been worthwhile or just a little too late. And we come into the crucial heat number 18, the meeting of the 2 Graham brothers with Andy. And he'll be in the white helmet. There he is, preparing, needing to win this one to take the British crown and the £500 first prize. Biggest race of his young career, no question about that. He gets pushed off into the arena. And he's got his brother, big brother Alan, who's made sure on the qualification place. But it is a pleasant thought, and indeed a heartening one, that we have a Birmingham rider, because Birmingham Speedway, once such a stronghold in the old days of Graham Warren, Alan Hunt, Doug Davis, so many stars, have been through a lean patch recently, although through no fault of their promoters. And it must be said that they do seem to have a real star here, and that will really get the Brummagem hordes on the march. Here is Alan Graham from just across the Midlands at Cradley Heath. And we have got Michael Lee in here as well, and Michael Lee will need points. There's Graham, Alan. Well, there is the lineup, and this really is a vitally important race. Alan Graham, sure of qualification, could scrape into the first 3. Michael Lee must get points, because he knows Dave Jessop's has finished on 8 points, so Lee's qualification place in grave danger unless he scores here. Andy Graham needing points, needing a win to ensure the championship. In fact, he only needs second place to make sure of this British crown. And on the outside, Chris Morton on 9 points. And he too could just scrape into the first 3 with a win here. So we have got a nail biter at both ends of the scale. Andy Graham looking to this one to win his first major individual crown, and doing it too at his first attempt, and that really is a notable effort. And that's another Graham brother. That's John, the 3rd member with Reading in the British League, formerly with Oxford, looking, well, a little bit pensive. I'm sure that his favours are split down the middle here. Really is tense out there. You can put your hand out into this rather sultry night air here in the Midlands and take the atmosphere by great handfuls. It really is getting a bit electric. On the inside, Alan Graham. Next to him, Michael Lee, desperate for points. He cannot afford a last place here, Michael Lee. With 3, Andy Graham needing a second place to win the British Championship at his first attempt. And on the outside, perhaps the most spectacular spoiler of them all, Chris Morton from Bellevue, who loves to roar around the outside. Heat number 18, the one that surely will decide the destination of the 1982 British title. And it's Alan Graham has given Michael Lee a fearful wallop into the first corner, and Lee has gone from second to last. And that again was a muscle-flexing first corner. It is Alan Graham in front. In second place now, it is Andy Graham. Although in third place, Chris Morton is really getting in among them. And Michael Lee's at the back, and that could be disastrous for him. Oh, again, we're having the most splendid speedway. So it's Alan Graham in front. Brother Andy in second place, Morton still buzzing around the boards, and Lee looks as though he might well be out of the World Championship. The second place will be enough for Andy Graham. certainly not getting any favours from big brother Alan. And I don't suppose he'll ask for any. And after what, about half a lap, he won't need any. Because it is a benefit night for the Grahams. Alan wins it, but Andy Graham it is, who is the new British champion. In third place it was Morton. And I'll bet the first man to congratulate him will be big brother Alan. There it is. And Brandon Stadium erupts. Alan Graham, his first defeat of the night, he won't be worried about that. A second place is enough to give him the £500 Sunday Mirror cheque and the title. And his class and courage have been stitched through this British final like a gold seam. They'll be waiting for him at the pit gate, there's no doubt about that. Well, he's an unassuming young man. Just a shy smile. And there is a very handy Andy Graham, the new British Speedway champion, and a really very worthy one.
Well, Andy Graham, you are the British champion.
Yeah, I can't believe it, Gary. I came here to qualify, and well, Stevie Boo was in this position last year, and I can understand what it was like. It must have been fantastic for him. Because he came here just to qualify, and he did the same as what I did. I just can't believe it.
How much do you have to thank brother Alan there at the start just to make sure that last heat?
Oh, Alan and I had a talk before the race, and we decided we both was going to go for the race. You know, we had nothing planned, because if Alan did, like, Alan's in with a chance, like, still for second, I think, isn't he?
Yes.
So I was just delighted.
Well, what next?
Qualify through from the next one.
Well, you're the British champion. Congratulations, Andy Graham. You've had a terrific night here at Coventry.
Thank you very much, Gary.
Well played.
Yes, a triumphant night for the Graham boys. Andy winning the British title with 14 points. Alan beaten into second place by a single point. Kenny Carter was third. Then came Phil Collins and his brother, the former world champion Peter. Chris Morton was followed by the other Collins brother, Les, and Dave Jessup, England's captain, just made the 8th qualifying place for the overseas final with 8 points. But the night belonged to Birmingham's 24-year-old star, Andy Graham.
And there is the main British Championship trophy. That's been in some famous hands over the years, coming from the chairman of the Speedway Control Board, Jerry Flewitt. Well, he's shy, he's unassuming. He really isn't the overall image of a daredevil speedster. Andy Graham, for my word, he's a super champion.
Success there, but continuing disappointment, as you saw, for Michael Lee, the 1980 world champion. He failed to make it by 1 point. Desirable that England